right, thank you for staying with Daybreak. Let's see what the feedback is about the floods before we wind up on that conversation and move on to something else here. Let's bring that up on screen at Trevor Mbidi at Citizen TV Kenya with the hashtag Daybreak. And you see the Duncan here says, Parliament has become an eyesore. People dying in floods and GOK grandstanding on the doctor's strike, but MPs can only care debating about buying a 10 billion plane for the all-powerful, all-forgiving man to globetrot. Shame. Okay? So Nixon Dugire says, I hope the CS Education is monitoring the flash floods in relation to school opening next week, considering that some schools are submerged and some affected families are actually taking refuge in schools that are on higher grounds. Okay. Engineer Lazaro says, Honorable Ruku, this time round, Meteorological Department issued accurate early warnings. We are being frightened by the slow pace of response from the government. President, please now direct military to come out from their comfort zones and help Mathare. Yes, Ruku, you wanted to respond on this floods issue before we wind up.
Yes, Trevor.
And he has also been warned the warnings have been there earlier. So,
Trevor, I think it is important as a nation, as a country, we start mainstreaming what I may call poverty environment linkages into national planning and development. This is a component which needs to be seriously mainstreamed by the National Treasury and get it also mainstreamed across all the levels of government. Because the issues of environment are becoming much bigger day by day. It's a reality. We have seen what has happened in UAE, a country where has not been experiencing such kind of rains. So we have to take issues of environment, climate change extremely seriously, and we have to see how poverty levels linking or the linkages between poverty, environment, and we ensure all these linkages are properly mainstreamed in our national budgeting, in our national planning and development. If we fail to do that as a government, we will be in a cycle, a very vicious cycle, which we will not be able to get out of year in, year out. And I think the Kenyan government is quite lucky to have a president who understands clearly what the world is facing as far as the issues of climate change is concerned. And that is why he's championing to come up with a new or a paradigm shift as far as financing of effect of climate change, so that we can be able to mitigate and also communities can be able to adopt to the climate change. So it's on forefront to ensure we have a new financing model globally, so that we can be able to take our planning properly. Now, for him to succeed, for the end of state to succeed, he must have a team in place within his government and also across the county governments who can be able to buy the vision, who can be able to understand the vision and get it properly implemented. Because yes, we are here talking about this. We were here a few months ago talking about El Nino and how it destroyed infrastructure, especially our roads across the country. The repairs which are required within the road infrastructure is in tune of billions of Kenya shilling, which the Ministry of Infrastructure cannot be able to afford at the moment. So, true, it's a challenge Kenyans are facing, but let everyone of us who is in possession of authority do his part.
Okay.
It is true, the government, and in this case led by our president, has a part to do, but also has a part to play, but also all the institutions, including, as my brother Honorable Madenge has said, including ourselves who are in Parliament, who are in the Senate, we have a role and to play as far as the issues which are affecting Kenyans today, this morning, is concerned.
All right.
Yes,
Honorable Manzo,
I
you agree with Madenge that you've all collectively failed Kenyans?
Yes, because of the parliamentary capture. The parliament has been captured. The parliament does not make any law. Parliament does not think. It has no brain, and parliament has failed Kenyans. This is a high time.
We got around that.
That's the truth.
You all sit in parliament, so that's the assessment of where you guys sit.
And what Manzo is saying is not true.
But just allow him to tell us how he's been captured.
That is the truth. The parliament makes no law. You know, the law is quickly hurried through parliament, and parliament is just a rubber stamp for now. So Kenyans must now think what sort of parliament they want to have in future. And if you have people who cannot use their brain and they are willing to be captured, please don't elect such people. The second thing is the president of Kenya and his government have failed Kenyans completely. They have shown a high level of incompetence and lack of knowing what they are doing. Well, the biggest problem is you have a budget already, as Parliament has provided. But you will not have exchequer dealing with this situation at all. The government will just let it go loose. They will do nothing. They will just let things flow and Kenyans to help themselves. So Kenyans are behaving as if there is no government at all. And the biggest problem of it is corruption. You know, by the time you build on the Parliamentary River, somebody has approved that building. How come the EACC, which is very very quick to do quick political fixes, or on just cases which just they know very well they are not heading anywhere, but they want to show Kenyans we have fought corruption with one or two individuals, yet nobody will ever be convicted. No recoveries will ever be made of stolen government property, or people who have caused such pain and such loss of property. They will never be prosecuted and nothing will ever be done to them. So it's a high time now Kenyans got thinking, because we have a very, Kenyans are very brilliant. They are very able. But the institutions of government have let them down, from the national government to the county government. So it's a high time Kenyans who are suffering got thinking how they are going to vote next time.
All right. But then I want us to close on this, your closing remarks, because we are about to move on to a different topic.
Yes. Thank you, Trevor. I just want to pick two things. One is the constitution that Dr. Okuro has referred to. In terms of the relationship between government, the Intergovernmental Relations Act and the Intergovernmental Relations Mechanism exists. Then county governments must take advantage of both IBEC in terms of funding and the summit in terms of leadership, decision, support, and political will. And when functions have to be functions designated for one level have to be exchanged, there has to be a deed for that exchange. At the national level, this is where I see our weakness. Note I have used the word our weakness, because we are supposed to provide policy in terms of responsiveness and preparedness. The preparedness has to be pre-disaster, meaning we forecast, and post-disaster. In the post-disaster preparedness, and during the disaster, the question of evacuation, the question of shelter, food, clean water, medical services, sanitation, safety must be well thought out and laid out. So that today, if we had this, all we would have done is to touch the button and everything starts to flow. In terms of policy, we are sitting in the same place. Honorable Senator Manzo, you've talked of capture of parliament.
You are captured.
And I want to ask you one question. The Senate has debated the impeachment of one governor and 2 deputy governors. Who captured you? You made decisions.
It was the only
you made decisions, Senator Mwazo, as a Senate. You acquitted one governor and 1 deputy governor, and you impeached another one. Please come clean and tell us about the capture of the Senate in those 2 instances. On corruption, you come from the Ukambani region. We are seeing Athi River estates flooded. Please tell the nation who should be held responsible for the corruption in your region that allowed this to happen.
Okay.
Trevor, can I also have some closing remarks on this subject?
Yes.
Very briefly. First of all, when I listen to our own legislators here, actually, I make one conclusion. everybody for himself and God for us all, and may the devil catch the hindmost. So we're actually on our own here. But when I also hear what Maanzo is saying, question of capture, Madenge now throwing back to Maanzo, I think we are dealing with a leadership that lacks integrity from both perspectives, whether it's the executive or the representatives. Because, Honorable Maanzo, if Parliament isn't working and has been captured, why are you still there? Because you are drawing a very huge salary at the taxpayers' expense, and yet taxpayers actually expect of you to represent them. And if it's not working, then just, fold up and say, I can't work here. And there are many parliamentarians who have actually come out to say that this is the most useless parliament. I've had Honorable Otiende Amolo say that. I've had Honorable Zinguni from Kitui, Zing Central, if I'm not wrong, or West, say that. So there's an admission within that we parliamentarians have actually failed. And now even people who defend government admit that government is not prepared, like Honorable Madenge has ably said. So, but there's one thing that, for me, two quick things just in summary. We are very fond of globe-trotting to other countries to benchmark. But we are borrowing nothing except borrowing money that we come and squander here. So if today Parliament was worth that name Parliament and representatives of the people, we should have seen by now a special motion on the floor of the House debating about this disaster, these floods, and the preparedness, and calling these particular departments and government into account. Otherwise, we don't have representation here. And there's one lesson we've never learned, Trevor, even with our globe-trotting. Why are we not harvesting this water? There is modern technology these days that should not allow this water to go to waste. I mean, we can do ponds, we can do damming from this water, and that is the whole aspect of preparedness. Because if you know that there will be a flooding, so by now we should have seen excavators actually, preparing even some dams, some ponds to collect this water that could easily be used or reused. But we are doing nothing, meaning, therefore, all these departments of government is all rhetoric, empty talks. But when it comes to politics, it comes to rewarding political sycophants, let's go CAS, let's increase our salaries, they will always agree.
Okay, Maanzo, right of response.
Yes, I want to say that the bill...
Who captured Senate when it comes to the impeachment? That was a direct...
What happened is this, and I was there. I will tell you that in the Kawira impeachment, the government did not interfere. And that's how Kawira, was heard and acquitted. When it came to the deputy governor of Siaya, the government mobilized. The committee convicted, and then the government mobilized the usual way. And there was, they saved, UDA in particular saved the deputy governor of Siaya. When it came
This is an admission from an insider like yourself.
Yes.
There was actually money.
Yes, there was manipulation.
Did you get
There
money
was
yourself?
Instructions. The leader of majority comes and say government position.
Did you get some money?
No, I didn't see any money. It's just, you are given orders. Okay. The leader of majorities, and they are watching who is not going to comply within the UDA system. So if you don't comply, of course, you will not get the party ticket next time. You'll be marked out and they will frustrate you as an individual. What happened in the latest one of Kisii, the whole House expected the Kisii deputy governor to apologize. It was as simple as that to the people, especially from his family and the individuals he had wronged individually. At the moment that did not happen, it was very difficult to convince anyone that that man was fit for the job.
Okay.
It was his own thing. Right. If you apologize, that matter would...
Trevor, they will never tell you that money passed on, but we all know, this is an open secret, committees of parliament. In fact, what Maanzo is talking about is true, and I agree with him. Yeah. There is capture. But that capture goes just beyond the word capture. Okay. It's about oiling of those committees so that they can do favorable reports.
Okay. Trevor, when you hear any member of parliament saying that there's a capture of parliament, that member of parliament is either lazy or he doesn't understand his mandate properly. I'm saying this because...
he's a wheeler dealer in the capture.
Yes. I'm saying this, Trevor, because whatever we are discussing is extremely serious, the issues of France. Trevor, this is about climate change. I have come up with the Sustainable Development Bill to put into effect Article 10.2D and Article 69, 1, 9, and 2 of our Constitution, so that we can ensure that whatever project implemented in the Republic of Kenya in the coming days, there will be climate proofing. crime improving of our water infrastructure, crime improving of our roads, crime improving of our buildings, the construction of buildings, crime improving of our towns. This is a concept which must be mainstreamed, you know, and it can only be mainstreamed if we have proper registration and regulation put in place.
Okay.
Our Constitution, Article 10(2)(d) and Article 69(1)(9) and 2 gives a space for development or coming up with a sustainable development bill.
Okay.
We should be asking Senator Mawanzo.
Yeah.
He has been in Parliament for the last 15 years or so. What has he been doing in terms of seeing some of these challenges which are affecting Kenyans on day-to-day, year in, year out, and is not offering any innovative solutions?
Okay.
I have developed a sustainable development bill which have already gone for publication scrutiny, and it's in the process of going through the legislative processes.
That bill will not go through.
No.
Secondly, we have done Fwake Dam to make sure that we save this water for irrigation during the dry season.
Trevor,
yes.
Any member of parliament who is talking about state capture of the parliament, he doesn't understand his law, he doesn't read the constitution properly. There are so many articles of our constitution which need to be put into effect, and can only be put into effect through
legislation,
registration, through act of parliament.
All right.
We have researchers in parliament.
Yeah.
Who sometimes they can be idle because of registers.
Like, just theory for a new member of parliament.
Let's talk about something else here. Now that we're all talking about capture, and the other name of that is just graft. And there's been an attempt by the